The following program is sponsored by Team Reba of Remax Metro East Side and Eric Osnes of Homebridge Financial Services. Welcome to Open House with Team Reba. Each week, Team Reba will be bringing you a roundup of real estate and mortgage news, along with information about the local Puget Sound region, highlighting some of the best and brightest entertainment options, family events, neighborhood highlights, and local business interviews, so you can feel right at home in the Pacific Northwest.
Welcome once again to Open House with Team Reba. I'm Reba Hass of Team Reba, Remax Metro East Side.
And Eric Osnes here from Homebridge Financial Home Mortgage.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you. Right back at you.
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks getting into 2020. I didn't even know exactly where I wanted to go with that full statement. It's been jam-packed already.
Yeah, we're off to a big start, busy start, and it's just going to keep going that way this year. I have a funny feeling.
Yeah, I was actually auditing some of our past shows. You know how I always go back just to see how dorky we sounded, or did that show go as well or as bad as I think it went?
Yeah, we need a dorkometer.
Oh, good Lord. You know that would get David Summers. He'd be like, ding, 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 ding. We'd get dinged a lot on that one. But no, I was going back and re-listening to a bunch of our past programming, and it's like, wow, there's been a lot going on. We just dove right into 2020 with so many things. I know my team is super busy right now.
Right.
You know, we've got tons of stuff going on, lots of changes happening as well. And it's just like, oof, I got to stop and take a breath.
It's funny how that works. A lot of the real estate agents, I think, took pretty much the entire month of December off.
I did
not. And a lot were, I
did take time off, but
we had
still
these midweek holidays.
Right.
And that always, kind of tends to
it monkeys with
make things happen.
Yeah. But see, when other people have that much time off, you know who they're calling.
Well, I get the same thing as well. You know,
they're calling us. Hey,
I got a little free time. Why don't I just check in on interest rates and all of that?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we had our staff. They were out showing lots and lots of houses during the holidays, including me.
In the torrential rain, that we were experiencing.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the month of December. Which
sometimes rain, sometimes not.
Pretty nuts out there.
Yeah, we had some dark days.
Yes, we did.
The darkest, what was it, they called it, the something like third darkest or fifth darkest day was in December. But anyway,
a little crazy.
All right, we're just
thankfully the days are getting a little bit longer, and the the snow has arrived. The passes, the ski resorts are booming.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that real quick though.
Okay.
I went and took a trip up to Crystal Mountain, get a little skiing in on a Saturday morning, left about 6:30 in the morning. I've skied Crystal my whole life. I love that resort. I've never had a problem with parking, anything like that. 3.5 hours into the drive, I'm still sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic 11 miles from the turn up the hill to Crystal.
Holy cow.
It was absolutely log-jammed. And so it was horrific.
Because there was an accident, or there was just that many people going up?
That many people. Man. And so what's happened?
Oh, because you went on a Saturday. That's
well,
why.
It's not that. I mean, in years past, there's never been this issue. I was talking with one of the locals at a certain watering hole in Greenwater, Washington, who said last year Crystal sold 6,000 season passes. This year they sold 26,000. And,
what?
And so then you combine that with a short season, a late start to the season, and everybody wants to get up there and enjoy the snow.
What was that's a massive increase.
It was a big jump. Well, there was a buyout. Crystal's under new ownership now, and a few changes like that. But what's happened is in response to,
I haven't been there in years. Okay,
it's a beautiful place, but in response to all this overcrowding, Crystal did acknowledge it was kind of a nightmare, for recent weekends. So what they've done is change this, and I want to make sure our listeners are aware of this. If you're planning on just hopping in the car and driving up to Crystal, they are not going to be selling lift tickets at the resort on the weekends. You have to buy your lift tickets in advance.
Oh, wow.
They're only going to set aside a certain number of tickets, and once they're sold, that's it. And that's their attempt of controlling the crowds.
Right. Yeah.
So I just mention that because
no one wants to drive 3.5 hours or whatever and then be like, what do you mean I can't get a ticket?
Exactly.
Wow.
So just really think about that one and plan ahead, because that's a whole big new game.
And there's also a lot. I mean, I'm sure the new ownership and how they're doing things is one part of it, but there's also a lot of new construction out down that direction too.
Well,
so there's even more people living closer to
new
that.
Construction. We just have a lot more people here.
Well, I mean, that gets to part of what some of our other stories are, but
Exactly. So just kind of plan ahead on that. I have a sneaking suspicion that other resorts might resort to the same thing.
I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, Stevens Pass has a similar issue. And,
do they?
And so where it can the parking lot can just fill up, and then that's the end of it. So, my strategy for Crystal now, you either, hopefully this change in the ticket sales will fix that. Otherwise, you got to leave at 5 a.m. to get there before the crowds, or you got to head up there around 10:30. Because then the lot will start to open up as people leave half day. Yeah. Leave around noon.
Yep. And there's a lot of people who only ski half day.
Yeah, they do. Well, if you got a season pass, no harm, no foul. Just go up there, get a few runs in.
Well, and some people, when they get older, they just can't do it all day.
The bones get sore.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a beautiful spot up there, though.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. I haven't been because I'm the opposite side. I did all that stuff when I was younger, and now I'm more on the boating side.
Yeah.
And you do both all the time, right? You do it your entire life because you grew up here, but I didn't. And I also grew up in Kansas where, there's no mountains, so I didn't learn to ski until I moved here.
Right.
And I will tell you, I do have a little PTSD with Crystal specifically.
Oh, yeah?
Because when I moved here, I was 21 years old, and there was a guy that I had moved here with, and I had a girlfriend from work, and we all went up there together. Now, they had all grown up skiing.
Yeah.
And I had not. And they're like, oh, yeah, we'll teach you. Well, they got me up there,
go that way.
and they took me up on the little bunny hill or whatever you call it, the bunny slope, I think twice. And they didn't really teach me much skills other than, do the pizza,
Pizza, hot dog,
that kind of thing. And 2 tiny little runs, and then they took off and left me. And I don't know if this lift is still there, but I got on a lift that was what we'd been using, and because it did a dump off on the bunny slope and then went up to a blue. And I didn't know how to get off very well by myself, and so I got taken up to the blue. And then I had to get
It's
down.
a little bit different now, but
it was also icy.
Which
was terrible conditions. I literally, Eric, I had bruises on both sides of my body from the top of my hip to my knees.
Yeah.
Like full, black and blue bruises from the falls.
From falling.
And had smacked my head once too, because with the ice and everything, I just.
Well, sure.
And then thank goodness some good Samaritan came over and stopped me at one point, because there was me and one other idiot who had done the same thing, and we're almost slamming into each other, crossing paths up there, trying to get down because we're terrified. But this woman stopped me, and because I was terrified, and I am afraid of heights too, so this was really pushing every button on me. She stopped me and she said, "You need to redo your boots. You're going to break both your ankles," because my boots had become unlatched, and I didn't realize that.
Oh, sure.
Because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I got really lucky, literally, that I did not snap both legs.
Well, you can hurt your knees doing stuff like that.
I'm amazed I went back, but the following year, because I just went down and basically got beverages and waited till they got back and got really ticked off. And then,
oh boy.
But then the following year I took lessons, and now I can do blue and black diamond, but still it was ugh.
One of my friends had a date up there, and actually a Stevens Pass, and first date, really nice girl. They're getting on a chair. And
second date, not so nice girl?
This is the old school chairs that they didn't slow down. They just hit you full speed. And, kind of scooped you up and off you go.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he did something wrong, caught a tip or something. So he's hanging by his hand off the lift. They stop the lift, and he's about, 3-4 feet off the ground.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad.
The girl looks at him. She's completely embarrassed, and she says, "Just let go." So he does. He drops down.
Yeah.
He never saw her again. I don't know how
she just went up the lift.
She was mortified, and she just took off and disappeared, and that was the end of that.
Well, that was rude.
Well, yeah, it was, but he was very embarrassed about that. So, which is why I'm bringing that up. How you doing, Dave? Anyway,
because you think he's listening? Is that what you're saying? Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So we touched on a minute ago talking about the housing stuff.
Yes.
You brought an article in to talk about. Do you want to do it right now? Or did
sure.
you want to go into mortgage rates first? Or do you even want to do mortgage rates right now?
We can give a little bit of an update. I'm just kind of looking at some general trends right now. We've been in such a holding pattern with interest rates.
Yeah.
They're staying very, very stable.
Yeah.
And we've got a new trade deal with China. And, phase one of that trade deal basically
let's talk about that.
Has the U.S. China agreeing to buy around $80 billion of manufactured goods from the U.S., and that's broken out between energy supplies, U.S. services. They're talking about agricultural products and things like that. The big question about that is whether China will follow through, with those purchases. There's some that kind of say, well, that would put a pretty undue heavy reliance on the U.S. for China. And they may not be willing or capable of doing that. We'll see what happens as that pans out. But that number is good. I'm always curious
when they try and get them to do that, because how do you get them to do it?
You do it by lifting tariffs. You do that by lowering the prices of things.
But the government says, yes, we're going to go buy all this stuff, and then what do they got to do? Go encourage all the businesses to actually do it?
Yeah, by price controls. Yeah, it works. It works. It's tinkering with the free markets for sure.
Yeah,
but it definitely does. Why is that important? To us, it's important because we want to see our economy growing. We want to see that trade, and if this does pan out, it's a good deal for U.S. businesses and could give us a little bit of a boost to our economies. The other part that goes along with that is our rate of inflation.
Yeah,
we need to keep it up. We need to increase the inflation rate. And this sounds absolutely 100% counterintuitive, but the Fed has a target inflation rate of 2%. They want to see prices.
Mild.
It's still fairly mild, but we're a little bit below that right now, around 1.6% or so. We want to see that inflation rate actually a little bit higher. That really kind of points the indications the Fed may not be that eager to increase interest rates in the near future, because that would tend to slow the economy down. We want it going the other direction.
Right.
We want that increasing speed. Why is that important? I know we got to take a quick break here.
Well, I guess
but
you can tell
I
us
want to talk about that
when we get back.
Yeah, why do we want inflation? Why is that such a big deal? And what sort of impact is that going to have on
I know I certainly want to
interest
know.
rates?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's
what the show is all about.
Know.
Yeah, because not everybody listening to the show is familiar with that. So let's get down and dirty and get those details.
You can help our inflation rate by visiting some of our sponsors here. Just point and click. We'll be right back. We got more Open House with Team Reba when we come back.
Open House with Team Reba on AM 1580. The Answer. Now, back to Open House with Team Reba.
Welcome back to Open House with Team Reba. I'm Eric Osnes from Homebridge Financial.
And I'm Reba Haas from Team Reba.
And we're here every Saturday from 2 to 3 o'clock, bringing you information on real estate and finance.
And also on Sundays from 3 to 4 p.m.
And on podcast.
Correct.
iTunes, Stitcher,
Spotify.
Google, Spotify. Just
Buzzsprout. Just Google us in podcast, but Open House with Team Reba podcast.
Yeah, you're going to find it.
There you go. Or just whatever channel is like your favorite.
That's right. And you're going to find almost 4 years of content there, and lots.
Not
and lots
almost. It is 4 years of content. 4 years of content.
Almost. We're working on 5.
We're in our 5th year. Yes,
right,
we started in late September back in 2015. Can you believe it?
It goes fast.
I know that. Well, that's what I was saying at the beginning of the show. It's just like we're just jumping right into another new year, and we're going to have all kinds of stuff going on. And we've already got as you and I had talked about at the end of 2019, one of the other things we have coming up is another class.
That's right. We have class on February 29th.
That's about the only way we can say it.
The official first-time homebuyer class sponsored by the Washington State Housing Finance Commission. This is a 5-hour class. It's free. We try and get through that 5 hours as quickly as we possibly can, because everybody knows in the eyes of the state of Washington, an hour is not an hour, an hour is 50 minutes.
That's right.
So there you go.
See, they're downsizing too.
That's right. Everything kind of keep that all lean and mean. But if you are interested in first-time homebuyer programs, zero down programs, reduced cost for mortgage insurance, PMI, which is required when you put less than 20% down, this class is required.
Yes.
And we'll give you a certificate. That certificate's good for 2 years. And but more than that, we're going to give you life skills. We're going to give you information to make you a savvy shopper, understand the process, know what questions to ask, know
critical
what the process
thinking skills.
is.
There's a lot of good stuff that we pack inside of this.
That's right.
As you like to say, we cram pack it.
Cram packed.
We cram pack it. And we're going to cram pack ourselves into the Renton Chamber facility in downtown Renton.
On February 29th, that's a Saturday.
Yes, we're leaping into the leap year on
start
leap
at
day.
9:30 in the morning. So
yes.
Bright and early.
Wait, are we?
9:30.
9:30?
Yeah.
I thought it was from 10 to 2:30.
No, we're going to make it 9:30. That way we can get out of there a little bit earlier. So 9:30.
Why can't we just do 10 to 2:30 because we got the 50-minute segments?
Well, because it's already scheduled. And you agreed to that schedule.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was 10 to 2:30.
Maybe I snuck that in there.
You might have snuck that in there on me.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you clicked okay. So that's on you, my friend.
Well, I thought that meant just like getting the room time.
No,
I didn't know that was
that's
the
our
start
our
time.
start time.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you're going to have to get up early.
Yeah, well, because I have to walk my dog before I go do all this stuff.
Bring him along. Yeah.
You know what? He is going to be trained by then.
Yeah?
Did I tell you I'm sending Rusty to
No, this is in 2020.
boot camp?
This is 2020, not 2022. This is 2020.
No, did I tell you I'm sending him to boot camp?
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Really?
Because I have an upcoming trip.
Yeah.
And while I am gone, he's going to boot
going to
camp. He's
school?
going to a canine dog training.
Wow.
Seattle canine dog training.
Oh,
he's doing
I'd
a
love to
board
see
and
this.
train.
Yeah.
I'll have to show you these videos.
Yeah.
It's amazing. He's going to be able to go off leash, right by my side. You won't recognize him when he's done.
I won't. Yeah, that's going to be amazing. Yeah.
I don't think anyone
I
will
refer to
recognize
Rusty
him.
as the world's worst golden retriever.
Oh, that's not
it was
very
it was my
nice.
dog sitting chasing him through the neighborhood at 3:30 in the morning that kind of switched me a little bit on that one.
You did have a poor
And he's just looking
experience.
back at me like, haha.
Well, it's because it's fun for a dog to be chased.
Of course.
But anyway.
Of course.
So,
anyway,
yeah.
Our class, to register for this class, it starts at 9:30 in the morning on February 29th. That's a Saturday at the Renton Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
You can just email info@teamreba.com.
Or you can go to our website at teamrebaclasses.com and register there as well.
There you go. And space is limited, so be sure to register soon. Or if you've got family or friends that are really interested in kind of filling their heads with knowledge about this whole process.
Yeah, I had in fact, actually someone that hopefully we'll work together with, a referral from a Canadian agent. She just sent me another one, and we're inviting those folks to the class because they're going to be their first time buying a house. So
good.
Going to try and get them in the door
Good.
early for
so,
that.
Before the break,
yes,
we're talking about inflation.
Oh,
we'll just wrap up that topic because I know people are sitting there waiting on bated breath.
Totally.
So the Federal Reserve wants 2% annual inflation.
Yes.
The reason is deflation or prices falling, depending on why they're falling, can be a bad thing for the economy, and we've seen that.
Right.
We've seen that happen in Europe. We've seen that happen in Asia. It depends on why. If prices are falling because of increased efficiencies, then that's a great thing.
Right, which is what we normally see. And it's like in technology, you get Moore's Law and things get better and faster.
You can sure see that.
Easier to produce.
But that's not always what happens. Sometimes it's just price competition. It could be prices where a company, a business is forced to lower prices to remain competitive. And sometimes there's some of these disruptor companies that will cause that to happen, and it drives prices down. Well, that puts a squeeze on the profits for companies. What's the consequence of that? Typically, it's layoffs. It's a loss of jobs.
Right.
And it's a really difficult pattern to get out of once it starts. And so as a consequence, that's why the Fed right now is happy to kind of let this economy keep moving along and hopefully boost it a little bit.
Well,
to avoid that.
It's always so interesting to hear you say that, though, too, because we were talking about this when I said I was auditing the old shows. We were discussing about the fact that we're in like one of the longest economic recoveries that we've ever experienced.
Over 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still a little nuts to be hearing some of this discussion. And, but then we also had another one of the shows where we were discussing how everyone keeps talking about the R word, the recession word.
Right.
But it's, as you were explaining to our listeners, it's is it 2 or 3 months?
Oh, it's going to be.
I think you said 2 months in the show, but I thought it was 3 months.
It's a quarter.
Okay.
I typically go by a quarter of down. decreased activity. And
that's not much time at all.
No, it's not. But these things are, we don't know we're in a recession until we're looking backwards and saying, oh, yeah, we were in a recession. By then, 9 times out of 10, we're already out of it.
Right.
So nobody's expecting anything super crazy, looking forward into 2020. Yeah. We think it's going to be a pretty good year. That's
what we're seeing so far in the real estate world.
Absolutely, and and that's an important point. The thing to remember is that we
certainly don't have prices falling there.
We do
at least in our market
Inflation
area.
On that part is just fine.
Yeah, and above fine.
But remember that a lot of our economic statistics, those are national.
Yes,
they're not local. So what we may read in the online or whatever about national statistics doesn't necessarily translate to what's happening in our stores or in
and that's
our
why it's always so
market.
Important to have good local people that you can turn to, and that's what we try and provide here.
Absolutely,
because yes, we do get a lot of national information, but it frequently has not much to do with us.
Yeah, that's true. So here's where we're at right now. Just the national averages for 30-year fixed rate mortgages, not much unchanged from last week. 30-year fixed rate 3.69%, 15-year fixed rates 3.33%. FHA and VA 3.32. They're still fantastic.
Those are insanely
really,
good.
Really are. Yeah, they really are.
Seriously, those were the rates that were at the end of the housing crisis.
Pretty close to it. That's right. And think back a year ago, we were a full percent higher than that a year ago.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah.
So things are really, really great right now. We really appreciate where they're at.
That's right.
So. All right, so can we talk about this?
Let's do.
Okay, since we're talking about inflation and deflation and size changing. So you brought in an article that says how downsized building trends affect bedrooms and bathrooms. Do you want to explain to our listeners what this wonderful piece of charts and words on this page are all about because they can't see it?
Well, sure. The basis of the article is that builders are struggling to build homes that are affordable to a greater number of buyers, especially first-time home buyers. And so what they're finding is that building smaller and leaner homes is the way to go.
Uh-huh.
So we're starting to see that, and that's why I was asking you, are we seeing that quite as much in our local market as we are nationally? But along kind of sort of in tandem with that, when you're in a recession or coming out of a recession, the size of homes tends to get smaller, and then as you're out of the recession, they tend to get a little bit bigger. And so the national averages for homes have they've gone up a little bit over the last couple of years, but we're still somewhere just under about 2,400 square feet, somewhere in that range. So, we were kind of talking about it because. In 2018, only 3% of new single-family homes had one bathroom or less. 34%.
Wait, say that one more time?
Yeah. 3% of new homes had one bathroom or less.
I'm amazed it would make any.
I don't know what the or less stands for.
Maybe 0.75?
A dunny out in the backyard, maybe. Oh, could be. Yeah, 0.75.
Yeah,
something
a three-quarter bath.
Yeah. 34% had 3 bathrooms or more. But that was down from 36% in 2017.
And when they say that, do they mean that is equaling 2.5 baths, meaning toilets versus bathing areas?
Well, they're just saying bathrooms, so I consider it a full bathroom to be...
Okay, because a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house is the most sold house every year here in the local area for the last 20 years that I know of for sure. Yep. But I will say... more and more of the consumers are always asking for 2.5 or more because they want bedrooms to use the full baths and then the half bath for the guests or on the main floor if it's a 2-story home.
Right. Well, and new single family homes with 2 bathrooms, not 3, has always exceeded the other sort of bathrooms per unit categories. Those are up 64%. So we're seeing more homes built with just 2.
I wonder where those are. Does it give you? I mean, I saw some maps in here showing the areas.
There's a few maps. The Pacific Mountain and West, North, Central regions of the U.S. are the ones with the heavier 3+ bathroom counts. So think the coasts. The West Coast, the East Coast. Those are going to be the ones with more 3 or more bathrooms. When you look in the mountain area, the Midwest. not so much. Not so much. So we're a little bathroom heavy on the West Coast.
Because we drink all that coffee.
It could be. Yeah, that might be part of it. I don't know. But
thank you, Starbucks, for something else.
I just thought that was pretty interesting that we're starting to
crude.
see homes get a little more lean and mean. And I don't know. I grew up fine with it. One bathroom.
Well, I know that's what we were saying before we went on air. Like my family in Beaverton, Oregon, had 6 of us with a 4-bed, 1 bath,
right,
and 900 square feet.
Yeah.
Which my clients today are like,
there's
I
like no
couldn't
way.
do that.
Not going to do it. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to have more back on Open House with Team Reba right after these messages. Thanks for being with us.
Open House with Team Reba on AM 1590. The Answer. Now, back to Open House with Team Reba.
Welcome back to Open House with Team Reba. I'm Reba Haas of Team Reba, Remax Metro East Side.
And Eric Austin's here from Homebridge Financial Home Mortgage.
Yes, and I know we were just finishing that last segment talking about, the downsizing of beds and baths and things like that. But,
right.
The thing that's going on this weekend,
I do know.
in case you need to add a bathroom to your house, or you need to perk up a bathroom or kitchen, is the Northwest Remodeling Expo.
That's right. It's going to run through the 26th, January 26th at the Washington State Convention Center.
Yeah, it's on today still till 7 p.m. So even if you hear this show, you can still get over there if you haven't already.
Get over there. Always lots of vendors
tomorrow,
at that show. Tomorrow till 5, right?
11 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. And so if you want to get more information, go to nwremodelingexpo.com.
There you go.
Voila.
Lots of good ideas at those shows.
Yes.
I always like to.
I know. I need to get out of here so I can get over there.
I do. I like to go because I just kind of write down ideas. Sometimes I'll snap a picture. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like that.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And then I'll just go home and build it. And I do not
that's what you
subscribe
do.
to that rule. What's that one called? Measure twice and cut once. I'm doing a lot of help to the local hardware store economy by purchasing more lumber than I need to.
Okay, but you know what? One of the things I will say, you did not do as a do-it-yourself.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give a shout-out to some people who've been on this show.
Let's do. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Murrow
Yeah.
of Michael Murrow Landscape Design
Yes.
has been on our show a couple of times.
He has.
And you hired him, lo and behold.
heard.
Frugal one. And you got Jose Escobar and the Cousins Landscaping to do the install of Michael's design.
It was a total dream
team.
team.
And it looked great.
Oh, they did such a
amazing
fantastic job. I just kind of transformed the whole
I can't wait
yard.
to see it in the springtime.
Yeah, well, and even Jose, he's installing. We did some structural stuff. We did a lot of plantings.
Yeah.
And Michael
Looked
Murrow
great.
kind of designed it based on the sun, based on times of year. Things are going to be constantly in bloom. And right now we've got Sarcococa going, which is the blooms.
I'm sorry, it's a what?
It's called Sarcococa. They smell really good.
Sarcococa?
Sarcococa.
Sarcococa. Okay. You just like to plant things with fun names.
I do, yeah.
Okay,
I do.
Sarcococa.
And don't ask me any of the other names. I've got a few of them in my mind. But Michael, when we kind of talked about the yard and everything, he's like, do you want like green all year long, or do you want like riot of color in the summer? And I'm like, go for the riot. So it's going to be fun.
It's totally up your alley.
A lot of bright stuff, a lot of yellows, a lot of
that's
whites.
why I can't wait to see it as it starts to evolve.
Banana tree, going to put a banana tree in. That's not in yet. We're waiting for it to warm up a little bit. Are you going to take
pictures showing the seasons?
I will.
You should do that and then share it with us so that we
idea.
can post it on,
on
our
my
social media.
There you go.
Look at what that's capable of doing.
And
engaging people.
What prompted all of this is last spring, I guess, I was going through one of these big box stores and they had a cedar gazebo that looked really
I saw that.
cool.
Yeah.
And I looked at that and I'm like, so I bought one. It showed up in a pallet, in my driveway, weighed about 700 pounds. So I drug it into the garage and
I'm sure piece by piece.
Yeah, right. And then I had to, so then I'm like, well, where am I going to put this thing? So I poured a concrete pad and then I put this whole thing together. It was just like a giant sort of Lego project, but you know what? It was high quality. It was good quality.
I was going to say, it didn't
really,
look like
really
Legos.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I was at
great.
your house for the holidays. It was fun.
Yeah.
Or right after, holidays.
Right,
yeah, it was great. Good time.
Yeah.
Are you going to do karaoke out there in the summer?
Yeah, Tagalog. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
just annoying my neighbors. That's right.
I'm sure that won't be the only thing you do to annoy
they're
them.
invited. They can come. That's right. Yeah.
No, there was a lot of fun people at that event. So the other thing, when I was also joking about this article, though, about the beds and baths, was where else can you possibly want another bathroom? And what else is going on this weekend, or starting this weekend?
Going on, the boat show, the Seattle Boat Show, one of the largest on the West Coast, is running through February 1st.
Yes.
And if you are
began on January 24th, they do 2 weekends. So.
Right. Yeah, it's a big show.
Yes, it is.
Big show. That's also down at the usually the CenturyLink Convention center is where that's at.
Well, and we got sucked in. Remember when we were starting this show?
We've done two live broadcasts from there.
Yeah. And one of them I didn't own a boat, and then the next one I did.
Funny how that works.
And now I'm on my second boat.
Yeah.
So what the hey? You're making my life expensive hanging out with you.
I got a Christmas card from one of the vendors this year because I think
you kidding?
They saw my eyes light up when I looked at their boat, and they're like,
Oh, well, I got to tell you, it's like not only have we done the being at the boat show, and now I own boats, and now I'm a rear commodore of a yacht club. Like, what is going on in my world?
All in. Yeah.
I went all out.
Yeah. It's just a fun thing, but even if you're not really own a boat or you're into boating, it's a lot of kind of interesting stuff to see there at the boat show.
Oh yeah, because it's not even just that. You can get stand-up paddle boards and kayaks and a whole bunch of other stuff too.
Sporting goods supplies, but also charters and tours.
Yes.
So
and classes. There's a ton of great stuff.
Yeah. So
you can buy toilets there, just like you can buy toilets at the Northwest Remodeling Expo.
That's right. And a boat could quite possibly be a tax-deductible second home.
Yes, head, bed, and bread, as they call it.
That's right. If you live on it for at least 14 days out of the year.
Which I qualify for because with the yacht club stuff, I go out on my boat all the time.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah.
I actually started keeping a log because I might eventually want to get a captain's license.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, that's fun. Yeah,
you're looking at me like I'm nuts, but I'm serious.
No. I've seen you handle a boat. You're good with them. Yeah, you know what you're doing. That's what's important.
Yes.
Yeah. So
tell people on our program, because people who are listening to us now may not have heard our broadcast from when we did the boat show. Although you can go find us on podcasts and find those shows and listen to some of it, because we talked about like waterfront, docks, and also how to finance. So do you want to like maybe cover that real quick? Because a couple of years later, everyone's homes are worth more.
Right.
And now people have equity positions.
That's
what would be some
right.
options?
I mean, there's a few different ways to go. One is you can get a boat loan, a marine mortgage.
Right.
And the interest rates on those are reasonably favorable. They're not going to be quite as low as a mortgage on a house.
Yeah. And see, that's one of the things. I bought mine with a boat loan, but my mortgage is significantly lower. But I wasn't in a position to do that when I bought the boat. Right.
So we do have customers that are doing that. They're taking out a cash out refinance of their home and using those to purchase a boat. That way, you do need to check with your accountant as far as the deductibility of that goes.
Yes.
And I'm not a tax advisor, so you got to be a little bit careful about that. However, the interest rates are going to be significantly lower. And you can spread those loans out over 30 years or whatever you want to do for that.
Yeah, because that's the other thing. Regular boat loans don't go to 30 years. They're more like 10 or 15.
You can go out
15,
probably 20 at the most.
Well, I know Boeing Credit Union, where I got mine, was I think their max was 15.
It might depend on that's possible. It might depend on who you're going to. There are some that are a little bit longer term than that.
Yeah.
But it's not as difficult to do as you might think. You do have to kind of be planning, though, not only the boat itself, but remember, anybody now operating a boat in Washington waters has to have a boater education card.
Thank goodness.
That's an online class that you can take. It's a darn good class, actually.
Yes, it is, because I didn't realize how little my ex-husband never taught me about boating until I had to do it for myself when I bought my boat. And then I was like, red light returning, what?
Yeah.
Red right returning, I'm sorry. And I was like, all these other things. I was like, I had no idea about any of this.
If anybody wants to know what red right returning means, all you got to do is be up on, say, Oak Harbor on a sunny weekend and look at the Skagit Delta out in Saratoga Passage, which is the body of water between the mainland and Whidbey Island, because there's mud flats out there. And
I know. I've been in them with my ex-husband.
There's a distinct...
right after we bought that boat.
There is a solid line of red buoys that tells you don't go in here. And
I will tell you, because when I saw all the other boats go one other way, and I went, why are we going this way? And they're all going that way. And he's like, I don't know. I guess they're going to Tacoma.
There's a reason for that.
10 minutes later.
Yeah. I'm just going to take this little shortcut. It looks like a lot quicker way to get south.
It was horrible. No, it was horrible. It's my favorite stories.
That whole delta is littered with boats stuck in the mud, waiting for the tide to come up and set them free. Every summer. It's sort of entertaining, All I got to say is if
your spouse says to you, what are those white sticks sticking out of the water? Stop, turn around, and go the other way.
Yeah. That's right. I have a good friend that his dad has a place just across from that on Woodby Island, and we'll sit in lawn chairs sipping beverages. And
You've told me that, and I thought, oh my gosh, I bet he's watching us right now.
It's true. So, boater ID card.
Yep.
It's going to be a requirement. Got to keep that boat insured. And then where are you going to put it? A lot of people don't sort of think that thing through. And
especially depending on what size.
That's right.
Well, you know what? Speaking of which, I was actually just talking to a past client, which I believe you worked with them maybe when they purchased. I can't remember. I was looking at their place out in Port Orchard recently because I was coming back from a yacht club event, and I had forgotten that the place that I sold them. Actually, can I throw this out there? You probably don't have any idea what I'm about to say, so good luck. So good friends of mine ran the state pump out service.
Okay.
That got canceled this year because the guy who had put that in place, those are federal funds. I'm going to ask our listeners, if you care about this topic and care about the water environment here for salmon and orca and all of that, feel free to send me an email and I will get you contact information of people you can reach out to at the state level. The gentleman who used to make sure that this program was in place, and it had been expanding up through the end of 2019. In fact, that's why my friends bought the place in Port Orchard, because they were expanding further out into the Sound, because it's to keep the waters clean from sewage. That gentleman retired, and his replacement, who was not handpicked by him, didn't believe in the program, even though it's federal funds. And they cut it off for 2020. And his business has been obliterated because of that. Not only is the business obliterated, but that cleaning that has happened all throughout. Okay, I'm going to tell you, it's not just the people out in the saltwater. If you're somebody who was getting serviced while you were out at Seafair and had your boat up on a log boom, that was these guys. And so that service is now gone. So if we want to talk more about it, send me an email at info@teamreba.com, and I'm happy to get you the details on who you can write and let them know that you're unhappy with that.
Yeah, I didn't know about the pump outs.
It just happened on New Year's Eve.
Interesting. Well, we've got more Open House from Team Reba when we come back. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a few quick messages.
Open House with Team Reba on AM 1590. The Answer. Now, back to Open House with Team Reba.
Welcome back to Open House with Team Reba. I'm Eric Osnes from Homebridge Financial Home Mortgage.
And I'm Reba Hess from Team Reba.
And Reba, if somebody has a question for you, how can they reach you?
Well, if it's a general question, you can send it to info@teamreba.com, the one we use all the time, because my whole team has access to that. So depending on how quickly you need a response, just let us know. Or you can sign up for our classes. You can also reach out to me in social media as well. We do have a Facebook page for Team Reba, as well as I have a Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter site.
There you go.
Yeah. And DM me all you like.
There you go. And I can be reached at eric@ericismybanker.com. That's Eric with a C. And I'm on social media too. Just look up Eric is my banker.
Yeah, and if you need more info on us, go to teamreba.com.
There you go.
There you go.
All right.
Blog and everything, all right there. Very simple. Very
Super easy. We love story problems.
Yeah, I know. Who knew? Who knew when I was a child that I would love math story problems so much?
Right.
Yes. Yeah. You know something else that are things that we like to solve as problems? When people are trying to sell their homes and it can become overwhelming. Especially, well, because we brought this up on a prior show. Yeah, because you've sold a house, right? I've sold houses, and it's stressful.
It is.
In fact, this is one of the things I try and get across to people is, like when they're buying, I know they already feel stressed because it's like the biggest purchase of their life. But what I talk about when I'm working with somebody who's about to sell their home is I said, I just want to forewarn you, our job is to try and help reduce this as much as possible, but it's much more stressful to sell a home than to buy a home.
Yes.
And the reason being, when you're buying, you have choices. But when you're selling, you have a thing.
That's right.
Right? And that's it. No one wants their baby called ugly. Right? So, but if your baby might be a little on the ugly side.
And there's some ugly babies out there, let's be honest. Smelly babies, too.
Yeah. But sometimes people don't have the resources easily available or taking time to get like a line of credit or whatever, or maybe, it depends. Our favorite answer in real estate. But my team has had a lot of services that we've offered over the years. And so, like when someone's listing with us, we give these great like credits around home cleaning and window and gutter cleaning and prep and all of that. We help with staging, 3D tours, drone, professional photography. We buy home warranties. I mean, it's like several $1,000s worth of just those services, right? And so when you're prepping and maybe you need to paint, maybe you're, updating something or, got to fix that fence and all the little things, the details, right? Well, not everybody has that cash just laying around and they don't want to put it just on their credit card. We now have through Remax, another option that we're starting to roll out right now. And I'll just say, listeners, if you're interested in something like this, basically the general layout of this is that we can get engaged with you and bring in I don't really say that they're full, they're not like renovation. They're a home improvement company, but it's meant to pick out the most saleable items within, your house that will help it sell for the most. And you can pay for those services at closing out of the proceeds of the sale. Which
great.
Is unique.
That's great. Yeah, because that's probably something that holds back so many folks selling. They know they need to do this. They know they need to do that. But they don't have the money to get the home to that point.
We used this one example in 2019. We had a customer, and this is why we always say, if you're thinking about even just considering selling your house this year, reach out to me as soon as possible and set an appointment. Because one of the houses we sold that closed in November, they started their preparations in January. So it's January.
Yeah.
If you want to sell, I've had numerous conversations this month. January is a busy phone call month for me.
Sure.
People setting appointments, having me come out, do a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of appointments, just going and looking at houses and talking about, from the last time I was there, what have you done?
Yep.
What have you not done? And I just laid this out to a client who's a past, someone who's been on the show. And this is like a great option for them. It's a really great option for them because they got a lot of stuff going on in their lives, and it would be easier if we could help bring in a company that could just help us do it all.
Right.
And we can do that with my association with Remax, I'm super thrilled to be able to offer it because it's been something that I know does hold people back. They need to do the paint, they need to do the carpet, but they're just like, what am I going to do?
Well,
so it's awesome.
Can I just point out too?
And it can be more than just those.
Well, I've relied on your expertise, to sell homes, and
why? Thank you.
And this is so critical because it's not just looking at the home and slapping up a sign and taking some pictures. Really looking at the home.
No.
What can we do that will improve the value of the home? What can we change? Are the colors right?
Yes.
Can we work with the furniture? Does it need to be staged?
Yeah.
So all these different things. With a home I sold, you even went in and said, I don't believe the square footage measurements were correct, and remeasured it. And
I paid to have an appraiser come out.
Right.
And do
that was a game changer.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden it's like, whoa,
we got you like a $50,000-$60,000 delta on
we,
that.
We thought it was
for $250.
Yeah, it was a lot bigger
totally
than we thought it was. So all of those things can really make a difference, and sometimes it's not huge financial outlay to bring the home up to its marketing potential, but other times it can be more expensive.
Oh yeah, well, that house in Puyallup that I was just describing, that family worked till like October to get that ready. And then that was the one that had the dog smell really bad. We needed paint and complete redo of carpet and an ozone treatment in there.
Yeah.
And we weren't even at that stage yet, but they'd already done all these cash outlays and had already moved across the country and done all these other things. And they were just like, we're just running out of time. We got to get over the passes before the winter sets in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was like this would have been game changing for them. And I could have gotten tens of thousands of dollars more for their home if we'd been able to do that.
Yeah.
But they just weren't in a position to do it. And I individually, as an agent, can't really offer that to somebody without risk or liability, but also the potential of running afoul of the state licensing.
Sure.
So there's a lot of different things. But
what's our market looking like now?
So, a few weeks ago, we were talking about this. Inventory over the winter was super tight. Mm-hmm. Oh, my gosh. We had so many people looking, and there was not enough inventory. So because this is the time that people start getting active, we're just not seeing the full amount of inventory coming on yet because most people are prepping for March, April, May, June. In fact, if you look at last year's sales, the largest number of sales were June, July, and August. And August is not always our biggest month, which is why it was kind of interesting last year that August was so heavy in sales.
Yeah.
But we're seeing it picking back up with new listings, but we're still not at pace with buyer activity. So we're going to continue to see the same thing that we've been looking at, which is about 20% of the homes are selling super duper fast, and many of them for at or over asking price. And then there's those people who overshot, who kind of had too big of an idea of what they thought their house was worth.
The ugly babies.
They don't even have to be ugly. They could just be moderately, bland, just not a standout. They
had a good personality, though. Yeah.
They did. They had a great personality, but a great location, But, it's picking up. So we'll see what happens this spring because, most people don't move just because they got a wild hair. It's because something's happened in their life.
Sure.
Right. So there's a lot of different things about that. But I will say there was a place up in La Conner I just looked at recently that I'm actually going to go take a close look at because I will tell you that agent massively misrepresented that property because I think I found a diamond in the rough and I'm going to go take a look at it personally. And who knows, maybe I'll have a second home.
I've been looking at something up there too, but I think it was on tribal land.
Yeah, this is too. But we should talk. Let's get off air and talk about that. But hold on, we're getting close to the end of the show.
Yeah.
I want to remind people we talked about this in last week's show. Tuesday, January 28th, the Butcher plus Beast Bash at Renton Technical College. We have Angie Marr, awesome celebrity chef from New York City, but from local restaurant royalty, granddaughter of Ruby Chow. She sells entrees at $150 a plate in New York City, and she's coming to do a private event at RTC, but there's a meet and greet that for $75 you also get her book that is currently selling in like the $30 to $40 price range, and you get a chance to meet her and all that kind of good stuff. It's going to be a great time. So anyway, we want to thank all of you for listening this week with us.
Thank you all. We've covered a lot here: skiing, inflation, toilets, ugly babies,
remodeling,
the market, remodeling. Busy afternoon. Hope you enjoyed it. Listen again next week, every Saturday at 2 o'clock. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Open House with Team Reba. To contact us, visit Team Reba at RE/MAX Metro Eastside on Facebook or email info@teamreba.com. Join us again next Saturday afternoon at 2 for more Open House with Team Reba here on AM 1590. The Answer. The preceding program was sponsored by Team Reba of RE/MAX Metro Eastside and Eric Osnes of Homebridge Financial Services.